Hello, hello, there it's working. My gosh, it's working first try. How you doing, everybody? Sorry to interrupt this moody playing of I Walk with Ghosts. But it's me. How you doing, everyone? Last week I was listening to stream like a podcast, made you fall asleep while you're making music. That's awesome. I assume that's like a positive note. I'll take that as a positive. That's great. How you doing, everybody? You're tired but good. I feel ya. I did a thing. I went to the gym last week and I did my back in. And it's on the mend. It's doing pretty good today, but I've been feeling pretty sorry for myself this week. It's been one of those weeks where I feel like every bit of my 42 years, you know what I mean? Feeling it, but that's okay. I am surviving. We get through this. Now, how's your week been? We've got our friendly crows hanging out with us today, as usual. They never buzz off. They really do like hanging out here in the mornings. They're not here in the afternoons. It's just done in the mornings. So you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Hey Yannick, how you doing? How's life? I better be surviving. Yeah, there'd probably be a few people would be a bit annoyed if I didn't, so I suppose I'll stick around, I suppose. I suppose I'll persevere with a bit of back pain. It's fine. It's all good. I went to the gym yesterday and it was fine, so I think it's gonna be I think it's positive news. Oh dear. What else has happened? What are y'all doing? Shut up, guys. Jeez, it's even louder today than normal. Well-attended meeting this morning. I went and saw Mission Impossible on yesterday. I went and saw Mission Impossible. That was a thing. Very Tom Cruise running around for a bit. And I very much enjoyed it. The music is very over the top. Like, so, like, uber dramatic. That's almost, like, I felt myself laughing at the music sometimes. And I don't know if that was what they were supposed to be doing. But, you know, they did it. But I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible series, films. It's good. They're good stuff. Just good popcorn cinema, you know? Edgy seat action. I mean, the stunts are just crazy, right? And I feel like the stunts in this one were pretty amazing, pretty out there. There's some pretty amazing sets that sort of do crazy things. And Tom Cruise just has to do crazy things in the sets, you know. Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise. How is that guy still alive? What is this guy? Who is this guy? It's crazy. Tom Cruise is we're never gonna see a Tom Cruise like Tom Cruise, eh? Now they're talking about him doing like Days of Thunder, and I think there's another film. Oh no, Top Gun 3. I mean, bring it on. Scientology magic, that must be it. Some witchcraft. Oh man. So today, guys, we got to work on. We started a track last week after building a bit of a template. That was more sort of that sort of ambient, classical kind of vibe, and I think we're just going to continue that today. That's the aim. Get a bit more work done on that. We won't get it finished today, I don't think, but you know, we'll give it a good shake, see where it goes. So listening to it this morning, I don't know, I feel like the things I was hearing last week in the string patches I was using are not quite as apparent this time around. It's like I was drinking a bit of the Kool-Aid for some reason last week. So we've got a bit of work to do, I think, to sort of fine tune things and maybe add some layers so these patches aren't super exposed. But we'll work on that. That's all right. We'll get there. It's coming, Jimmy. Just know it's coming. It's in the works. Everyone's hard at work. There's lots of stuff planned that I can't tell you about. Lots of stuff. Okay. So as you can see, I'm going to play with Polaris this morning. Add a little ambient patch. Energy pools. That's the one. Energy pools. Okay, so let's have a listen. I'll record this patch as we go. Let me just get a vibe for what's happening in this track. Holy moly! Okay, I better stop. Better stop because we've got to acknowledge this raid, this epic raid. Jack Play. My gosh. How you doing, everybody? Welcome on in. Come on in. Just find a seat. Get comfy. How you doing, everybody? Thank you so much, Jack. What were you doing today? What were you guys doing? Listen to music on Spotify during your stream. Great work. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing it. Appreciate it. And thank you for all the follows. I'm Scott. Nice to meet you. I write music. You know, that's pretty much the story there, actually. I write music. Hello, Apocalypse. And everyone say hi to everyone on YouTube as well. They're all over there too. Boeing, how you doing? Thank you so much. I bet you're a flight sim fan. Is that what you are, Boeing? I've loved flight sim, by the way. H-Bar, how you doing? Thank you for the follow. Why is this patch not playing? So today we're working on some very ambient, sort of orchestral sort of vibes. Very, you know, bittersweet, melancholy, a little bit uplifting kind of vibes. Very chill. So it may be a different vibe to what you've been watching at Jack's, but you know, we're just gonna chill. This is what we do here. We kind of just chill and make vibes. That's what we do. Hey Yannick! Thank you so much, buddy. 32 months. Oh my gosh. You just follow on Twitch too. Thank you, Bowie. Indeed, you are a fan. Very good. That makes me happy. Okay, so we're recording a very ambient patch right now. So Let's do it. Enjoy the bonfire, Jay. Oh my god. We'll leave that for there for now. Where do I draw my inspiration from? It can be a lot of places, to be honest. There's like, it's a lot of all the things I listen to and consume and, you know, watch, and like I find a lot of artists on ArtStation that just give me a lot of, because a lot of things, like, a lot of the way that I write is very much like storytelling, you know, like there's kind of like a story behind it, even though maybe I don't know what the story is, but it's very like, you know, I hate throwing around the term, but it's cinematic music that I like to write, you know. It has, and cinema has stories. Stories is all about storytelling. Cinema's always about storytelling, and that's the kind of vibe I'm always going for. So it's all those influences that have some sort of, you know, you know, a story to tell. You know, I find a lot of stuff on ArtStation that just kind of fuels that, you know, I don't know, like there's some sort of story in the things that those artists are making, and that's the place I find out. But I watch a lot of stuff, I read a lot of stuff, a lot of science fiction, fantasy. I'm big into science. If you know me, because I have a PhD in soil science, and so I'm big into like those, you know, scientific concepts that kind of fuel ideas. Lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff out there, really. It's inspiration everywhere when you're really open to it. You know what I mean? Never understood how to create music. Difficult job for you and your brain, but so exciting when you can do that. Yeah, it's fun. Totally fun. I mean, it's not for everyone. You know, like, you know, like if you don't want to do it, like no one should push you to do it. It's like a beautiful experience when you are comfortable with it. I feel like I'm finally at that point where I'm like, I don't have to think so much. I just kind of make, and it's really nice. I don't have to like think about things anymore. I know a lot of people get frustrated with the process sometimes because it can be challenging to figure out where you go and what you do, and like with anything, like I'm just also trying to learn how to draw and paint at the moment. Very hard to do, but I don't know, you gotta somehow like the process. You gotta really like it. I missed a bunch of things. From a cartoon artist to musical artist, just wanted to say how easy is it for you to come up with new melodies and motifs? Would you say it comes with practice, or do you find people are naturally inclined to it? Just like other artists have strengths, say in character design or backgrounds. It's maybe a little bit of both, blue collar. I hate to say that like any sort of skill, because it is just a skill. Any of these skills is inaccessible, like because you don't have some sort of like talent for it. I think anything can be learned. I think I have strong oral skills. So like I was always I feel like I have like a well-developed ear, so I can hear things really well. Most other skills are not great, to be honest. But I think the fact that I can listen has helped me a lot. And in that regard, I feel like a lot of composition is actually analyzing other people's work. That's the really like learning how other people have done it, so you can figure out how to do it yourself. And it's probably the same for maybe being an artist as well. Oh God, man, just go away. You're always doing this every week. So, what was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying. So I mean, as I was saying, it never used to be easy. I feel like it's easier. It's the easiest as it's ever been now, because I've worked on it for a long time, and I feel like because I've listened to so much music and I've sort of deconstructed a lot of it, you sort of learn how to, you know, hear melodies in your own work that sort of become apparent. Particularly the way I write, because I'm very focused on like chord progressions. In the beginning, sort of developing that up and then figuring out how things can sit upon that as like a, you know, using those chords as a bed to develop an idea. I feel like I'm sort of, after many years of practice, I'm finally doing okay. I don't know if I'm great, but I feel like I'm much more comfortable with it, and it comes more easily, which is good, because I'm in a position where I'm trying to write quickly. So having the skill to, you know, write something within a short time frame is good. It's kind of good. What song was playing in the background? Is something playing in the background? It's my track. I think that was my track. Oh, thank you, Geme. Yeah, they're all good choices. Big fan of Hans, but who isn't? Hans is the bomb. Yeah, sorry about that. I find it really hard to figure out what buttons I'm supposed to click on YouTube chat. Yeah, we do need a moderator. We do, I agree. All on YouTube nowadays? I mean, well, we're kind of in between now, you know? But I figured we're allowed to do that now. There was a time where you couldn't stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, but now it's fine. So, you know, here we are. Here we are. It's just a bit more confusing to stream now, though. I have to say. It used to be very streamlined to just stream to Twitch. Now we're gonna have a lot of windows open. You know, it's a bit crazy. What program am I using? I'm using Cakewalk Sonar, which used to be free. Now it's not so free, but I like it. I've been using it for like over 20 years, so. I gotta say it's like 25 years now. Maybe more than that? No, it'd be more than that. Over 25 years. Let's just say that. You guess how old I am. It's great. I like it. But that said, you don't have to use it. It's plenty of other DAWs out there as well. You know, Cubase and Logic and Reaper, Studio One, Fruity Loops. No, FL Studio, sorry. It's not called Fruity Loops anymore. It's not Fruity Loops. But it's good. It's Cakewalk by BandLab. So I'll put the link in chat maybe. New window. Cakewalk Sonar. I need like a command. Do they do commands on YouTube? I don't know how. There's like a bots that help with commands. I have no idea. There you go. There you go. Thank you, HBAR. It's always been pretty chill in this channel. I can't do high energy. Nope. Bitwig. That's a good choice, Patrick. For all the Linux users out there. Would you be nice to name the software you're using, which is Cakewalk, and does the keyboard connect to the PC? Yes, it does. How to record music from piano? So this keyboard that you see here on the other camera is connected to my computer via USB, and then the program just picks it up, sees it as a MIDI device. It's very, very simple, and I think any keyboard that you get these days will have this kind of functionality. It'll just pick up what it is and immediately work, which is very nice. Very, very nice.
Plug and play.
Plug and play, that's right. Harder to go on. Thank you.
Do you want another?
I mean, yeah, but I'm still drinking this one, so. Go for it. Yeah, the fader's great. The nuances controller. It's a nice little controller. I still like finding that I don't use it much. It's one of those things where it's like it's there, but I don't know. I fail to actually use it. But I'm learning. Keep on reminding myself it's there, and I think it's also one of these things where I've worked so long without much hardware at all that it's like, you know, you have to work to actually incorporate these things into your workflow. So I've got to work on that. But we'll get there. Speaking of keyboards, you have to deal with latency input latency, yeah, a little bit. But it's pretty good. I feel like the drivers that I got make it pretty quick. So it's like 10 milliseconds on most of the mixing latency, which is includes the input. I think some of the libraries that I'm using have a bit of latency, but I've kind of learned to deal with that. I think when you practice with these libraries for a while, you learn how to perform them over time, so you kind of get better at dealing with a little bit of latency. Particularly the legatos. Patches that have legatos tend to have a bit of latency in them, just because there's a bit of, I guess, programming involved with connecting notes when they're, you know, gliding between them and whatnot. So you learn to adapt. If you could officially score any film or game franchise, which franchise would be your dream? I think it would be the Elder Scrolls, the games. One of the games. I'll do Elder Scrolls 6. We keep on talking about this. I'm going to put it out there. I want to score Elder Scrolls 6. So if Bethesda want to get in touch, I'm happy to talk. We're happy to make this happen. That would be my absolute dream, definitely. But I'm working on games, so I'm working on 2 games at the moment. I'm working on a game called Menace. I'm gonna put them in. I'm gonna use this to promote these games because they're pretty cool. Menace. So I'm working on a game called Menace, which should be out later this year in early access. Come on, internet. So this is Menace. Menace is like a sort of a sci-fi tactical kind of game, which is a ton of fun. I'm really bad at it, but you know, there's time. And then I'm working also on a game called Falling Frontier, which is also really cool. It's like a sort of a sci-fi, like space-based sort of, I guess, real-time strategy / 4X, you know, sort of exploration, building sort of thing. But very, very cool, very slick, very beautiful. Kind of sort of vibing on that sort of expanse kind of sort of view of sci-fi, sort of more hard science fiction, almost naval in its sort of way that the combat plays out. It's very cool. I'm very, very happy to be working on these games. It's very much in my ballpark of the stuff I want to work on, so very happy. Still using performance dams libraries? Absolutely. I'm doubling down, Patrick. I feel like it's starting to move into every part of my templates now, which is nice. Yeah, very much like it. Although today we're using some other strings that I bought, which is this. Oh my god! I'm using these Pederast Vex strings from Orchestral tools. So it's more like that sort of very ambient chamber vibe. Yeah. A sports related theme? Maybe, Headley. Something I never really thought about. I think I did a cover of like some track from a baseball movie many years ago when I was working in LA. That's probably as close as I've come to like doing sports music. But this is a new film, right? This is like the Brad Pitt Formula One film. I'm curious to see what that's like, how it does. Don't make me choose servers. Gosh. I don't know. Maybe DreamWorks. I feel like the stuff they're doing is a little bit more inventive comparison to Disney, which just seems to be doing the same things over and over again. What free plugins and libraries would you recommend looking for instruments for Reaper on your end? I mean, it depends on what you want to do, but if you want to do stuff that's more aligned with me, which is more orchestral sort of vibes, I mean, there's a few free libraries out there that are pretty good. They're like Orchestral Tools does a new free library now from their Berlin series, which is like a good sort of starting library for learning, I think. Spitfire Audio also does a good learning library. The BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover, which is like I feel like the Orchestral Tools one is more flexible in what you can do with it. I feel like the Spitfire one is a little bit more like the patches aren't as useful and flexible for different styles of writing, but you might as well get both because they're both free. In terms of other free stuff, like Spitfire has their Labs series, which you can't go wrong with that. Although I haven't played around with the new updated version of Labs, which I haven't been able to get it to work for some reason on my computer. So I'm still using the older version, but apparently a lot of people aren't so happy with the new version. I don't understand why. Mostly because I can't play it myself, but not yet anyway. We'll figure it out. It's got to put some time into it. But Labs has always been really, like, even for me, who has a lot of libraries, who have sort of invested into a lot of oh my god sorry guys, who's invested a lot of work in a lot of money into niche libraries to fill out their palette. There's still a lot of cool stuff in Labs that I still go back to all the time, including like there's one particular patch, the soft piano, which there's just something about it, like it's really like it sounds like just a very simple upright piano, and very close mic'd, and it just has a way to cut through. I seem to use it all the time. And there's also like a synth patch in there that I use all the time. Like it's these sort of things, like it's just so cool to have, and it's an interesting little collection. I think some stuff in there that you probably won't easily find elsewhere without spending lots of money. So definitely check them out. There's tons of other things out there though. I'm just really I need to get a list going. That's what I need to do. Thank you, Lanza. Have a nice night. Have a good sleep. Okay. Have you ever tried to make something that sounds like a Bond theme? I've probably got a couple of things in my library that are a little bit like that. Yeah, but nothing explicit, I don't think. I was working on a track for Menace, and apparently one of the combat tracks did sound a bit too Bond-like, even though I didn't realize it at the time. But once they said it, it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. That does sound Bond. I think it was like I was using a brass, using a brass patch, doing like a major seventh, which is very, very Bond. Oh, I can't play. Where's the sounds? It's also Superman, but in the context I was writing it sounded very Bond. I don't know how to say your name. SRC. I don't know. I bet. But getting FLAC versions of other tracks, not at the moment. So the only way that it seems to be possible to get the FLAC versions is through Bandcamp. And the only stuff on there is actually is the compilation albums. I'm working on getting the other ones finished, so there should be like, a huge swath of library song albums coming out later this year. But so hopefully that'll solve your problem that you're having at the moment. But no, not right now. I apologize for that. I'm trying to add a little bass here, but not too loud, but not too quiet either. What? Why are you not playing? There we go. Something weird going on there. You love Legend of Koth. I never know how to say his name. Yes, but I was definitely inspired by the King Killer Chronicles for that one, yeah. And the idea behind it was to kind of make this theme that was semi-inspired by all the, I'm trying to remember what the story was about, but the essentially the performances that was in the books. They're sort of bringing this kind of like raucous, almost like tavern feel, very high performance, sort of very flamboyant kind of flair to the theme. That was my idea behind it. So there's a lot of me in the background, making up kind of these sort of vocalizations that kind of brought the vibe of like being in a tavern. That was the vibe I was going for. Dr. Pizza, how you going? Looking for a music for a project? Found my stuff. That's awesome. That's great. I hope you find some good stuff in it. Let me know if you need any help finding something useful. Maybe I got that bass note wrong there. You like Phoenix Supreme? Some Puma Emperor Mittens. Yes, I like that one too. I really need to feel like I need to revisit that one because I'm not super happy with how the choir came out. So it's probably one of those ones where I would love to revisit and try and do like a remaster of it, I guess. So I want to say that Cobalt has helped you through the darkest times. Really inspired me to get the best version of yourself every day. Thank you. Cobalt. That's it's so interesting to see what kinds of tracks people really connect with. Like I mean obviously I love everything I've written, but I'm very happy with the stuff that I put out, but Yeah, that's really cool. I'm so happy that that's helped you. I'm very happy. Cobalt. It's quite a few years old now. But so happy to hear you're doing well, Ismail. It's really good. That's awesome, Madison. Oh, stuck notes at the moment. Okay. I want to figure out what happens next. What happens next? That's wonderful, Daniel. So happy. It is a nuance. Yes. I like it a lot. It's exactly what I wanted in terms of like a controller. I don't need a lot of faders. So having just a few ready to go is perfect for me. I rarely use it as it is though. It's a problem. Do you like it? You enjoy it? I like also the fact that it's one guy making these. It's like I feel like I've, got a sort of I don't know, just a handcrafted product. Something someone's had there, imprinted themselves into it a little bit. I like that idea. The volume wheel on the keyboard. So why is the volume then manually? Yeah. So two things. So one what I'm playing with is the modulation wheel, which would be controlling CC1, the controller 1. So this is changing. So in the patch there'll be embedded a crossfade between different dynamic levels. If I can get it to play. So when I use the mod wheel, it jumps between those dynamic levels within the patch. So that's a different, it's playing with volume within the patch itself in a way, because it's playing with how it expresses different, how it expresses the dynamics. But then I'm going back in again and playing with the CC7, which is the volume. And this is, I don't think a lot of people do this. I do, because I feel like it adds more, like there's only so much that the mod wheel can do. Some patches are better than others, but I find that most patches feel like they need more to breathe. Like they need more sort of help to improve their dynamic range. Particularly when I'm on tracks like this where we're going up and then we're coming back. And we really want to emphasize the lulls, but also the highs, like these sort of, it's like breathing almost. And I do this all the time where I'm sort of overemphasizing things. I feel like just MIDI needs help when you do that. Like you can only go so far with one controller. You need to sort of play around with a few, I think. So that's what I do. I go back and add, extra over the top to help it breathe more. That's just something I do. We, the others, use CC11, so expression, yeah, you can do that as well. I don't know why I've always just done volume. It's just what I do. I think volume, a lot of people tend to use volume mostly for mixing. So if you actually go in there and actually mix the track properly, CC11 would be the one we use to actually do more expression. Sometimes CC11 actually does something as well. Depends on the track, depends on the patch. This is what I do. You don't have to do what I do though. change the chord here, I think. I do AD, yeah. Particularly with the, like, if I'm using sort of synth patches more than any other, like, but no, that's not true. I mean, I do use a lot of extended techniques for strings and brass and stuff like that, are patches that do a lot of that microtonal stuff. So yes, I do a lot of that stuff. I think yeah, it's fun. I think sometimes it really adds something, particularly when like you're pitch bending between notes, and it adds a lot of like at times, depending on how you use like strings and brass, for instance, and even synth, it adds a lot of like uncertainty to the feeling of the track. You know, like this sort of feeling of suspension, or like you're floating, or there's something wrong. Things are wrong. There's like a, you know, a little like suspense within the track in the other way, like as in like something's about to happen, but you don't know quite what yet. I don't know. There's a lot of cool things that come with using microtonal stuff. Yes, I did, Yannick. I'm trying to think of anything that came up that kind of sparked my interest, and I don't know. I watched the Microsoft one this morning. I was trying to figure out what was in that was kind of interesting. I mean, Outer Worlds looks fun. Sorry? Crazy what? COD. Oh, yeah. That was interesting. So the COD, the Call of Duty announcement at the end looked really... I did not pick it for... Oh, see you, Severs. Have a good one. I did not pick it for a COD game. It was pretty crazy. Resident Evil, I'm not a big Resident Evil guy, Yannick. Not big into that. I kind of enjoyed how they went about announcing it though, because it was like they weren't going to announce it, and then they announced it. Well, it's like not. I guess they'd already announced it, but they weren't going to show anything, and then they showed something. It was a bit sneaky. A bit sneaky. Okay. James Bond I am excited for. Yes. That one looks pretty good. I'll definitely play that. Definitely play that. Made by the guys down the street. Yeah, you saw them, right? You went and did a meet and greet. It's pretty cool. So do you score in the game? Score in the game, Yannick? That'd be a good one to score. Well, there'd be a lot of pressure, I think, to make it sound really cool. It'll be a full orchestra, that one, for sure. Indiana Jones DLC, thank you, Manny. Yeah, I'm on board for that. Anyone played the Indiana Jones game? Because it is amazing. I really had a lot of fun in that one. This is how I want to experience Indiana Jones from here on in. No more movies. Just forget the movies now. They're done. They never happened, actually. After the third one, Last Crusade, there was nothing. There was nothing. I don't remember any movies. World changing, maybe. ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, has apparently got a big event that's going to change the world. Kind of like maybe like what WoW has, like that Cataclysm expansion. So it'd be weird to see what happens there. We used to play that a lot, and so maybe it's time to go back and play that a bit. See what's happening. Huh? Grounded? Yeah, Grounded would be fun. Grounded 2. I kind of liked the first one. That was pretty fun. Played a lot of hours in that. Spooked myself out with spiders. So I'm happy to do that again. Way out of your league? Really? You can do it. Yeah, come on. Come on. Believe in yourself. Spoke a bit with the auto director, Dominic. Cool. Nice, man. Very cool. Yeah, I think James Bond would be a tough franchise to write for, though. There's a lot of baggage that comes with those kinds of things. The same with like, yeah, any of those kinds of, you know, long-lasting film franchises. There's a lot of baggage, man. So where are we at with this one? Where are we going from here? We're gonna maybe bring it up a bit. It's a little bleak. going with that. Have I heard the Wild Robot score? I don't think I have. I haven't seen the film. And I haven't heard the score. Is it really good? That song reminds me of my work. Okay. Okay. Cool. I wonder who wrote it. Wild Robot. I have to check it out. Composer. Chris Bowers. Cool. I've not heard of this guy. American composer, pianist, and director. Nice. Okay, I'll check it out. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Let's get a vibe check. Actually, I might go to have a quick bio break, but I'll play what we got. 33 Shin, 33! Thank you. No worries. No worries at all. Thank you for thinking that way. It's very nice. It's very nice of you. I'll be right back, guys. was looking for the sign player and I couldn't find it, but I found it. It's all good. Don't panic, everybody. I wanted to try. Is there like a... Yeah, first chairs. Is there a viola? I wonder what the viola kind of expressive, quiet stuff sounds like. Which one am I using here? Soltasto? Does this one have a soltasto for the violas? It does. I do like a viola. Often the violas get the sort of a short end of the something something. They don't always sound great for some reason in libraries. This one also needs a gain. Awesome, Ron Roth. That sounds awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Went off the rails there. Whoopsies. Cut it there. Alright. So let's just blend this in here. Thanks, Ron. I'm glad you found something. Glad you found a track that was useful. I'm very happy. Congratulations, Chris. That's awesome. Very cool. Okay, let's back up a bit. Okay. Leave that there. Don't sell yourself short, Chris. I'm sure it was also you. It's usually the sum of the parts, to be honest. I'm not sure how we're going to end this. It's somewhere on there. Yeah, I feel you, Chris. I've done okay, but it's also taken me 20 years of kind of just doing stuff to get here. So, I mean, I did do a music degree. I don't know how useful it was for me because I didn't really apply myself during it. So in many ways, like at least the composition side is very self-taught, but I did have a bit of fundamentals in learning music theory, doing a lot of piano as well. But I mean, it didn't happen overnight. I did get a job fairly soon after finishing, I guess. I was working for a studio in LA doing like film music for trailer films, like film trailers, like advertising, writing music for advertising. But it was actually, I hated it. I hated it so much that I ended up quitting music altogether because I was kind of constantly writing music that just kind of completely drained me. So I ended up leaving completely for years. Like I ended up quitting the industry, spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I ended up going back and doing a science degree. I ended up eventually getting a PhD in science, in soil biogeochemistry. Ended up working as a researcher for years in Sweden. I went on this tangent and music just became, over time, became a hobby, something that I was wanting to do because I felt like doing it. And there was, removing a lot of the pressure to actually have it to make money, like that was not what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to just be this thing that just I was able to express myself somehow. And over time, over many, many, many years of, and this is what the library came out of. The library came out of this sort of desire to like make music and put it out there, but not to put a price on it. To say this music is valuable, you must license it, you must pay for it. And it was like, no, we're going to remove the barrier to access, allow people to use it if they want. If they think it's valuable, they can donate, they can, whatever they want to do, but I'm not going to be the one who puts the price tag on it. And the library became this kind of way for me to just experiment with ideas, to just essentially hone my craft, and here we are, like, I don't know, it's more than 10 years now. 10 years later, I'm actually doing this full time again. I've left science. I'm back doing music again. The library's is doing great, but it's taken a long time. I would say it's a grind, but it has never been a grind because I never made it a grind. It was just a thing that I did. It was just a fun thing that I did. I have to admit, like a few years there, maybe the last year or two when I was working in my research position and also trying to, keep up with the music was a bit hard. There's some hard times there. Like it was kind of, my brain was very, very frazzled. But it was always about making sure that the music was not this thing that would, it has to do the thing it has to do to make sure that we are eating, and it feels good to be at this point. The library's also turned into this great way to meet people and to find projects to work on. So the games I'm working on at the moment, and also working with Alan Becker, have all come through the library. I'm using and finding my music and going, hey, that's really cool music. We like what you do. Do you want to work with us? And it's been really great. But it's like none of it was planned. None of this was like, this is how I'm, going to solve my career problems with music. It was just a thing that I just wanted to do, and I did it. So it's like you never know what will happen. I'm not saying that you should release your artwork for free. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like it's the way it's panned out for me. I kind of never know what's going to happen. And if you love it, I think you'll always do it. Whatever way it is, just make it on your terms and find the thing that you love about it. And I find it's okay to do other jobs. whilst it's not your main thing, I don't think there's any shame in that. There's no shame, and don't feel like you're a half a human because the thing that you really want to do doesn't pay your way. I don't know, it's hard to think like that, but I think it's very it's important for your mental state, I think. It definitely was for me to sort of separate myself a bit from the music. It was definitely an important step, I think. Gotta get them placements, absolutely, Yannick. Ugh. Yeah, I'm glad I'm off that treadmill now. That's really good. 20, yeah. Started photography back in the mid-90s. It was useless. Everyone got camera phones. Sorry, quit, but hey, you did your science back? Yeah, science was great too. I really enjoyed it. Really fun adventure. Also very lucky to have a partner who helped support me during that retraining time. And that was fun. But we got there. And we ended up moving to Sweden and everything. Like, it was a hell of a journey. What kind of chemistry did you did as your main job for us? So I did soil biogeochemistry. So it's like soil chemistry, looking at nitrogen in soil. That was my kind of pet chemistry. So looking at things like amino acids and protein and ammonium and nitrate and also a lot of microbial biochemistry. So like looking at how microbes utilize enzymes to cycle these nitrogen compounds in soil, and it's all about like what kinds of nitrogen is available to all the organisms, including plants. Like, that's kind of the thing that we're all studying, and using various cool little techniques to sort of measure things almost in real time, which is really fun. So it was fun. It was a really good experience, and I'm very, very lucky to have done it, and to now get to call myself a doctor too. I get to call myself Dr. Buckley. If anything comes out of that, that's great. That's the one thing I always wanted. No, tell me, definitely wasn't something I ever thought I'd be doing. But it's funny how life sends you in certain directions sometimes. Present expanding on YouTube as well as music's gotten around. Definitely has, yeah. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Anytime you apply for jobs with your photographic qualifications, so it was often expected to work for peanuts. Yeah, right. Just don't recognise photography as an art, and haven't for 30 years. Yeah, fair enough. I was a worm's best friend. I was. Yeah. Although in the forest, I was working predominantly. Like, I did work in Australia for a while, but as my PhD research was in Australia, in a lot of sugarcane farming. That was kind of my focus. But the postdoctoral research I did was in Sweden, which is in northern Sweden particularly, and there's actually not a lot of worms there. There weren't a lot of worms to play with. It was mostly fungi. Yeah, so if anyone has played Unravel, the game Unravel, it was actually developed by a development team in Umeå, which is the city that we lived in, and that's the forest. The forest of Unravel is the forest where we worked in. it's like looked exactly like that. Oh, Shug, how you doing? Not usually on Twitch this time. Oh, welcome. Caught ya. You're in Australia, nice. You actually learned about music from a Finnish Twitch streamer. No way. Enjoy my music. That's awesome. That's great, man. So random. My music's everywhere now. It's really, really bizarre the places that it shows up. Love science when you're at school. It's your favorite subject? That's cool, Sean. It definitely was something that intrigued me, but I was bad at it. I didn't really apply myself in high school. I ended up failing. I came close to failing science in high school, and I failed maths in high school. And so when I went back to do my science degree, I had to do essentially science and maths, like high school maths, to get into the course. Second time around, so much easier. Like, particularly if you're there for a reason, like you've got a reason to do it and to understand it. But I think it was also the way they taught it at that level was so much nicer. Like, I don't know, the way that I had a really good teacher doing the high school maths course at university. It was really, really good. But yeah, I mean, I was definitely more, I don't know, I wanted to be there. So it's like, yeah, it was my 30s, so it was like a different kind of person coming into that. But yeah, so don't everyone tell you if you're bad at maths, don't think that's actually the truth, because, you know, anyone can learn. As long as you want to learn, you can do it. You know, there's nothing stopping y'all. All right? Just watching Table Tennis Pro highlights, and they were using my music. There you go, Yannick. That's awesome. Teens is a horrible time to try to learn anything. I mean, some things, I think if you're really into it, you're really into it, you know? But it's also, yeah, the things that you aren't, you're very good at least I was, very good at tuning it out. Aspiring animator, musician, nice, Karina. You want Alan Becker with such inspirations for you? No, you don't have to sell your soul. Exactly. No, there's other ways. There's other ways to do it. But it is a challenge. Like I in many ways, the way I've gone about making a career, even though I wasn't planning on this, but the way I've done it is not very. It's not a worn path, you know. And not a lot of people have done this kind of model for releasing their music, and it can be confusing for people to understand that, and if in many ways as well, you're sort of like, I felt like I'm a little bit on the outside of the industry in some ways, because I'm not doing what everyone else does, and I don't fit the general model, and it's a bit hard for people to understand sometimes, but it's okay, you know. It's still true that you can, you know, you don't have to fit models to actually, you know, be okay and be valid. No problem, Ron. You're on similarly finding your artistic purpose with content, people you want. It took well over 15 years, yeah. I mean, I think it does take time. Even if you end up hitting it early on, sometimes, you know, the places you still end up, you know, many, many years later it's a different place. Everyone grows over time, end up wanting to do different things and have new experiences. But yeah, I wasn't expecting my career to be so, I guess, spirally. I didn't think I'd be back in music again, doing it full time anyway. But here we are. Sympathetic people who struggle or did struggle with learning certain things at school, yeah, it's a tough time. Have the right to add BTEC after your name, but no one cares. What's BTEC stand for? I've not ever heard that one. I want people to care, Chris. I want people to earn their titles, you know what I mean? And use their titles. Mess with your worst subjects, yeah. Shouldn't laugh at blah, blah, blah. Better with imagery composition, yeah. Frodo, thank you. Yeah, I loved animation versus physics, Frodo. That was, I think, by far my favorite Alan Becker project that I've worked on. They did such an amazing job on that. Just visually stunning, concepts were really cool. and then let me go a little bit crazy, you know? Particularly at the end. It gets a little weird with the cat synth. The weird spacey cat synth. Yeah, Chris. I mean, music's one of the, like, for me, it's very improvisational. So it's one of the things I guess I've learnt over time in the way that I write. Is just I kind of just tool around until it works. I guess having a bit of skill on the keyboard has helped me with that, where I can play what I need to play to get it out of my head and into the computer. But it's a lot of listening and a lot of playing around and knowing what works in the past and applying that again and trying something slightly different to see what the outcomes are. It's for experimentation and observation. That's all it is. Yeah, there's a cat synth. And it was not a cat specifically. It was just a synth that has this kind of meow, meow at the end of animation versus physics. If you listen to the score, you'll hear it towards the end. Just wanted something really weird and alien, and that was as close as I got. But it sounds kind of like a cat. Have I seen Sinners? Not yet. I've heard good things about it though. Ludwig is very good. He really hits his scores out of the park. A little bit jealous. Farside Aegon, hello, welcome. British Technical Education Qualification, nice. Very cool. British Technology Education Council, aha, okay. Just add it to everything, Chris, come on. That's okay, Shug. It was just a score I did for an Alan Becker project, animation versus physics. So you can go listen if you want. I won't press you though. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Okay. That's true, Freda. That would be pretty cool. I don't know. Immediately comes to mind. This is a really funny choice, but Starship Troopers. I feel like Starship Troopers would have been an amazing film to score. Just something really crazy over the top. Thank you, Sean. It sounds. These are good patches. It's really pretty. I want to see your music in the use in heart art and sensibility. Please check your adventure. I will. I'll check your out. Cool, cool. How you doing, Relativity? How you going? Driving through Aurora, Colorado, and thought of you when you passed the street called Buckley. Almost there. Is that missing the K? I've never seen anyone pronounce spell it like that though. Whoop. Have I seen real chamber strings before? Chamber orchestra? Yes. See them all the time. We subscribe to all the all the various things that happen here in Brisbane. But we see quite frequently the Ensemble Q and Australian Chamber Orchestra and Southern Cross Soloists and Camerata. All these cool Australian groups. We'll see a lot of it. Love it. Love it so much. Oh, if I forgot what I'd do instead. Easy, bonjour. I'd be a scientist. We were talking about it before, but I have I had a whole career that I left to come back to music. So, I would happily, if I couldn't do music again, I'd probably just go back and do science. That's probably what I would do. At the moment, because all the work that we were doing at the time, that I left, like it's all the research is still coming out as publications. So at the moment, I'm still an active scientist. It looks like it anyway. It looks like I'm active, but like all these new, journal articles publishing our research are still coming out, and they probably will for the next couple of years. So, there's still always like, opportunity. If things go really south with music, I can just go back and do science, I guess. I feel like that change there happens too jarringly, so let's fix this a bit. It's because there's a gap. Tell you what, let's just go. figure out what the violas are doing here. May disco. Paint this in. Ah, stuck notes. Very, very chill ending. Go on, thank you. A little late, yeah, but that's fine. Better late than never, thank you. My birthday. I think I had a good birthday, I forget. It's been a while. It was months ago, yeah, February. It's been a while. Gonzalo, how you doing? How are you doing? Hope you're good. Alright. We found the ending, I think. It's a little bit of a... just a peter out, I guess. This sort of fades off. I think I missed the ending. Whoops. Maybe not this time, God. I always seem to do that, where it's like that twist at the end where it makes everything feel like it's blooming again. But maybe this one time I can leave it sort of unresolved. Yeah, no upward. All downward. Or maybe just added. No, maybe just added. Move that to... What is going on right now? I get really confused with this. 8? That's not 8, that's 9. Oh god, what have I done? Finger tremolo. Finger tremolo. What is going on right now? Isn't this the channel? I think I'm doing everything wrong, folks. What on earth? I don't know what it's doing. I can't seem to make heads or tails of what's happening right there. So we're gonna make a new one. So it's the only one in there. And I can figure out what's going on. I think it's changed the channels of a bunch of stuff, but not the ones that I meant to change the channels of. Very frustrating. Finger tremolo. Thank you, Shin. It's definitely very delicate. It's a very delicate track. Well, this is nice. That's nice. Imagine going through this tune every time you shut down Windows. Oh god, that's poor Windows. Marlet, how you doing? Long time no see. Back from the abyss. as many songs as possible. As Beautiful Oblivion. You like that one? I like that one too. It's a good track. I enjoyed it. Again, Jolly Adventure, making respectful use of the use of song Artemis. So precious, helping you create a cutscene. That's awesome. It's also one of my favorite tracks, actually. Made after the Artemis mission ended. That was a little bit of my send off for it. Oh, nice, Sith Master. And I guess this one has a little bit of like a almost like even more ambient Elder Scrolls vibe, like, you know, Oblivion exploration kind of vibes. Just a little bit more chill than maybe what's in that game. Yeah, I'm fine with it, Sith Master. Absolutely. Totally. Oh, nice, Yannick. Thanks for the confirmation. Something like that. A little bit of bass at the end. Skill Q, how you doing? Do miss Ultima, you know? Such innocent days. I'm doing good, Skittle. I'm doing good. Chill Monday morning. Ah, stuck notes. Arr. Okay. Well, that's a vibe. I think there's still some stuff to do to fill out more of like some more textural elements to fill out the space a bit more. But I think the bulk of it is there now. It's just kind of hanging some decoration on, really. Tis a vibe. Tis a vibe. Okay, I think that might be it. I think that will do me today, I think. Blueberry Gamer, thank you. Glad you like a book. I think it might be it. That might do it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out today. And big thank you to Jack Plays for the big old raid over on Twitch. Appreciate it so much. And thank you for sticking around. Those who did. Appreciate you. Yeah, have a great week, guys. I hope you have a good one. I've got a bit on this week. So again, I probably won't stream during the week, but I'll definitely be back next Monday. And we'll sure do this again. I don't know if I'll finish this off stream or whether we'll wait till next week, but I'll see. I'll see how I'm feeling. See what gets done this week. Really depends. But yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I will catch you next time, okay? Have a good one. Bye. I'll play the song. I'll play the song for y'all. Have a good one.